friends, I'm gonna start another reading vlog. Today is Saturday, November 1st, and I have 3 books that I want to read for my project to try and find more 5-star books. And these have been recommended to me. I've got stuff I gotta work on in my apartment as well. Just like things that I brought with me because I moved. If you're new here, I just, over the end of spring, early summer, I moved from a 4-bedroom house to a 1-bedroom apartment, just downsizing. And I downsized a lot of stuff, but I still can't figure out where I want to put some of this stuff. There's not a ton of storage. There is some, but not a ton. So I'm still trying to figure out a few things to do with these things, if that made sense. I also decided I am taking a staycation next week from work, and except for one day, Wednesday, I have some meetings that I really should be at. So I'm taking Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday off from work, just to reset, just a mini mental health break. Work's been really intense lately, and I'm just worn out, tired. So I didn't have but that one day of meetings. I didn't have any classes I was teaching. I didn't have any trainings I was giving. So I felt like this is a good time to take my break. Because I moved this year, there is no funding for a vacation. So that being said, I thought it would be a good week to vlog because I will hopefully get a good bit of reading done. I do have one doctor's appointment on Monday, but I think that's it. I should say I am scheduled to go for an infusion on Friday, which I will do, but that's really it. I'm just gonna do things around the apartment, hopefully do some filming, and really do some reading. That's really all I want to do. So all that babbling to say, I am doing, so the last, and I'll link below, I'll link below the video where I talk about why I'm doing this, Reboot My Reading Year vlog series. And the first episode, and I'll link that below, was books by authors that I have given 5 stars to before. And I didn't end up with any 5 stars in that one, but I did end up with 2 4 stars, which I thought was still good. Still good. We're still looking for the 5-star though. So I am going to, this episode, we're going to do books that friends of mine have given 5 stars to, whose reading style can be similar. It's not totally similar to mine, but can be similar. So the first one, which I've already told y'all about, is in other videos, is Theo of Golden by Alan Levi. I've actually already started this a little bit. This is about a man who arrives in a southern city of Golden, mysterious stranger. He visits a coffee shop where 92 framed pencil portraits are on display. Inspired, he sets out on a mission of purchasing all the portraits one at a time, quietly bestowing them on their, quote, rightful owners. It's stories are told, friendships are born, and lives are changed. I know several people. This first came on my radar from Krista at Books and Jams, but since then I've more than several friends have rated this 5 and 6 stars. I had intended to do this for an in-person book club. I didn't get to read it in time, which has been the theme of my of my reading this year. I've missed most of the book clubs, but I'm still going to read it. I also did not realize that this author is from Georgia, which is where I live, and the story is set in Georgia, which is really cool too. So I'm already enjoying this, and hopefully we'll read it pretty quickly. I cannot get the audiobook for this. It doesn't come out until December. The book came out in 2023, and from what I understand, it's just now taken off, and so they have done an audiobook. It's coming out in December, but I want to read it now. And then I have followed Hannah at Hannah May for, gosh, 5 or 6 years at this point. She doesn't really make videos anymore, but she does still run her Patreon group, and I am in that group. And we correspond by comments and things pretty much weekly. She puts out an audio newsletter weekly. And I found Hannah because we have the same chronic illness, and she has a lot of helpful hints on how to manage pain levels and fatigue at home. I have read a number of books based on her recommendation that I really liked, and this is one of her books that she loves. I can't remember what video I saw it in, but I feel like it might have been a favorites video or something she did for Patreon, just saying that this was one of her all-time favorite books. And this is A Place for Us by Fatima Farheen Mirza. And this is, as an Indian wedding gathers a family back together, parents Rafiq and Layla must reckon with the choices their children have made. There is Hadia, their strong eldest daughter, whose marriage is a match of love and not tradition. Huda, the middle child, determined to follow in her sister's footsteps. And lastly, their estranged son, Amar, who returns to the family fold for the first time in 3 years to take his place as brother of the bride. So it sounds like, from what Hannah described it, it's a family saga, which I do enjoy. So I'm very hopeful for this one. I found a used copy. I don't remember when, like sometime earlier this year. And I also love the cover. It's simple, but yet unique cover, and it's gold. I just really like it. And then the third one is one that I've told you that I wanted to read. This is Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. And I've heard from a number of people that they really liked this, gave it 5 stars. My friend Molly, who is not on BookTube, but she's in the BookTube community, and that's how I've met her, through Patreon groups and things like that. She really loves this book. So I'm hoping, I've already read a little bit of it, so I'm hoping that that will be a 5-star for me. Wouldn't it be awesome if all of them were 5 stars? But just one being a 5-star would be amazing. So these 3 come with me on my week of staycation, and we'll see if we can find a 5-star. Good morning. It is Saturday. It's Saturday, November 8th, maybe. And I did have a week off of work, and it was good. It was really good. I also did not read much. which is okay. Not a big deal, but surprising for me. I have been reading Theo of Golden. It's hard to see. White cover. This is just a slow-moving book. Very slow moving. Not really sure how I'm feeling about it. Which is surprising because everyone loves this book. I don't want to be the one that doesn't love it. So I'm about 100 pages in and it's just slow going. So there's that. I've also been listening to Wild Dark Shore on audio and liking it. I'm really curious what's going on. A woman washes up on shore to kind of a semi-abandoned research base or something. And the family, it's the father and 3 kids are on the base, and it seems like they're protecting something, and having this woman wash up on shore has brought up a lot of questions, and we're also getting flashbacks from the woman of what was happening before she ended up in the water. So I'm working on 2 books. So it is Saturday. I have done a good bit in my apartment, and so at some point I want to film a little bit of an apartment tour for my channel, and I also would like to film later. I got some library books. I have a haul, but it's only 1 book, and yeah, just kind of get ahead for the week coming up. So, and preferably get a lot further in Theo of Golden. So I finally finished Theo of Golden by Ellen Levi. We'll talk more about this at the end when I wrap up all the books. I'll just say that this wasn't what I expected, and not in a bad or a good way. It just, I don't know. It just wasn't what I expected from listening to people talk about it. So we'll talk more about that in a bit. My next read is A Place for Us by Fatima Farheen Mirza. I have this on audio and physically. I'm still listening to Wild Dark Shore on audiobook. So I think I'm going to start this physically and then see, if I want to pick up the audiobook instead. Yeah, this vlog is taking longer than I expected. But yeah, we'll get it read. We'll get it read. Don't know if we're gonna get another 5-star or a 5-star. We'll see. We'll see. finished Wild Dark Shore last night. I was listening to the audiobook. This was a trip. Yeah, it was a trip. I will let you know my rating when I wrap up the vlog. The vlog, of course, as typical, has taken longer than I had wanted it to, but we're on the third book, so hopefully I'll finish this vlog very soon. But I have started my third book, which I only have the cover right now, is A Place for Us. I took the cover off so I could read it and not mess up the cover. We have had a indie bookstore crawl, or bookstore crawl, happening this week. It is the week of Thanksgiving, and so it started on Saturday. It ends on Small Business Saturday, which is the Saturday after Black Friday. And I've done a little damage. I've shown you, probably you've seen some B-roll from the bookstores I've gone to, and I had to support the local indies. Had to, right? That. So I'll check back in when I have more of A Place for Us read. Okay, so this morning I finished A Place for Us by Fatima Farheen Mirza. I listened to the audiobook for this, and I don't think I provided any updates for the vlog because I mainly just started listening and kept going through it. Yeah, this was a family saga, and it really hit some emotions for me. I did not cry. Got close, but it did hit some emotional points for me. We'll talk about in a minute what I rated it and how I'm feeling about this book. Now that I'm done with that book, it's time to wrap up the vlog. As is usual, this vlog took me longer than I intended because one book, the first book I started out with, took me about 3 weeks to read. No kidding, 3 weeks. Partly, I think, because I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks, and there was no audiobook for this book, and that is Theo of Golden by Ellen Levi. I'm pretty sure that the audiobook for this book is coming out in the beginning of December. This book, highly recommended by book people, friends, just people in the community. Lots of people recommend this book. It is about a man called Theo who is in his 80s, and he goes to a small town in Georgia. That was really cool that this author is local to my state, and it's set in a fictional little small town in Georgia, which it was pretty accurate for what a small town in Georgia is like. And Theo, we don't know why he's there, what brought him to this small little town. And it's kind of hinted to the reader that there is a reason. But he goes, and there's some portraits in the coffee shop that a local artist does of people that come into the coffee shop. And then they put the portraits on the wall for sale, and no one buys them. So Theo starts gifting them, decides he wants to gift them to the people who are featured in the portrait. And he does it in a way where he meets them when he gives them the portrait. The book goes on to explore some of the individual people that he ends up meeting through this project that he's doing. We have hints and glimmers of Theo's life before he ends up in Golden. We also find out about the local artist and different shop owners. So I did like it. I did like it. I think one of the things that threw me a bit is it is so slow in the beginning. It's so slow. And honestly, for me, it was a little boring. I wasn't completely on board with the way that he was doing the gifts of the portraits, in the sense that it felt like, and this is my opinion, it felt like he then felt entitled to a piece of the story of the people he was gifting the portrait to. And that, just my interpretation of it, could have been totally different for a different reader. But that's kind of what came across for me. And for me, it made it feel kind of creepy in a way that he was meeting these people. And there were different situations and different people that he gifted that they did acknowledge the danger in meeting a stranger. They met in a public place. People knew who he was, and he was an 80-year-old man, harmless is kind of how he's presented. So some of that was addressed. But that was my one main critique of the storyline. Like I said, the pacing was a little off for me, and the ending for me was a little surprising, in the sense that this is not marketed, or it wasn't to me, and all that I have heard about this book, as a Christian fiction book. I don't typically read Christian fiction. I am a Christian, but I don't read Christian fiction because some of it I feel is a little heavy on the specific faith of the author, which is reasonable. I mean, the author is writing from their perspective. However, I want that to be marketed that way. It is it felt a little pushed at the end. Not everyone's gonna read it that way. That's just how I read it. So yeah, I think that's kind of the things that threw me off a little bit with this book. I typically don't give half stars. Haven't given them all year. This vlog is breaking me of that. Not just this book, but I'm gonna give this a 3.5 star. I know, not what I expected, because of the love for this book. And I don't, like I said, this is just my opinion of it, my reading of it, the time and space I was in when I read it. But yeah, that's kind of where this one landed for me. Then I listened to Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. I listened to the audiobook of this. This is about a family who is on an island that is a research base, but all the researchers are gone. Then a woman washes up on shore, and the family, it's a father, 3 kids. So a father, a son that's 19, a daughter that's 17, and a youngest son is like 9, I think. And the chapters are from a different perspective of the people that are there. But the family takes in this woman and helps her to get better. She is beaten up a good bit by something she came across in the water, and fever, infections, those kind of things. I liked the family aspect of this and the character development. The scene setting in this was amazing. It was just amazing. You felt like you were there. The audiobook is great and highly recommend that. It had a cast of narrators as well. But we find out why the woman is there. We find out more about how the family got there and where different, like where the mother is, and find out more about the researchers and what went on while they were there. This novel really focuses on survival and sacrifice, relationships, family relationships, love relationships, kind of expectations, and a little bit, I would say, on kind of the extent you would go for people and projects, research. I did end up giving this 4 stars. There was a little bit of the storyline that I wasn't a huge fan of, but I can't tell you because it would be a spoiler. But it was still a good novel, and I'll definitely want to read more from this author because, again, the scene description was amazing. Then I listened to A Place for Us by Fatima Farheen Mirza. And like I said, this, I listened to it pretty quickly. This is about a family. It is mother, father, 2 daughters, and then a son. They're from India. When the father and the mother got married, they moved, or the father was already living in the US, and the mother came over, and they were part of an arranged marriage. And we opened the novel at the oldest daughter's wedding, and she has asked the youngest, the brother, to come back for the wedding. They've been estranged, and the novel really takes us through that estrangement and why the brother isn't involved in their lives. And I really loved the family themes in this. The relationship between Hadia, who's the oldest daughter, and Amar, who is the brother, was just so well done. I felt like definitely at odds, and there's definitely questions of right and wrong. Where is your loyalty lie? And also themes of cultural shifts when you live in a different place. Their parents tried to instill their beliefs into the children, and through also language in the children, and just kind of the 3 children and their different responses to that, and how much of their Muslim culture and religion they took into their lives as adults as they grew up in the US. It was really, really interesting. Really interesting. This is another half star for me, which again, I don't normally give half stars, but this one's not quite a 5 star for me. It's a 4.5. It's really close. And I really thought about it because I thought, am I just being super picky? But I know that feeling I get when it's a 5-star, and this wasn't quite that, but it was really close. So I highly recommend this book. The audio was really good, but I think, because I did read some of this, and I felt like that was good too. So I think this could be either way, audio or physical read. These are 3 books that I read for this Reboot My Reading Year. Didn't quite get a 5-star, but got really close with A Place for Us. We had a 4-star with Wild Dark Shore, and our 3.5 with Theo of Golden. Let me know in the comments below if you've read these books and what your review is of them. Remember, this is just my review. So if you loved Theo of Golden, which many people do, awesome. Don't come at me. But I feel like this was worth it. This was a good reading experience. I will be continuing looking for a 5-star in December. Got a little bit of a different way I'm gonna do it. So we'll stay tuned for that. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing, and you can follow my journey as I continue to try and find a 5-star. And I will see you very soon. Bye.